All right, what's up guys? OJ here. Welcome back to another video, man. I've been excited to bring you guys some new styles of videos to the channel discussing various different topics, and I want to say thank you for all of the support. But today we got a very interesting topic that was brought on by you guys, the community, when it comes to the most underrated, air quotations on that one again, guys, underrated Nintendo Switch like major exclusive out there over the course of its life. Before we get into that and I explain a bit more what we're going to be talking about, please make sure you hit that like button and also subscribe for daily gaming videos and more. Click the notification bell as well. So let's go ahead and talk about it here, because on my community page via the YouTube channel, I asked you guys, what is the most underrated Nintendo Switch exclusive at this point? Now, a lot of you felt that the games that I listed were not underrated, and I want to explain, because I had ARMS on there, I had Astral Chain, I had Fire Emblem Three Houses, and I had Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I guess you can use the franchises if there's multiple games as well on there. And it's not that people don't think those games are good or they didn't rate high enough when it comes to certain Metacritic, right? Because Fire Emblem Three Houses has like a 88, 89, Astral Chain has like a 88, 87, something like that, and also Xenoblade has like a 80 something. So they all have good scores for the most part, with ARMS being, I think, the lowest Metacritic score. I meant in terms of underrated when it comes to the popularity of the franchise, underrated when it comes to what people are talking about, underrated when it comes to Game of the Year consideration. If you look at it, all of these games, and if you look at, like, let's say like the top three, right, that would be from the voting, it would be Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Astral Chain, and Fire Emblem Three Houses. Like, none of them won Game of the Year considerations from pretty much most of the major publications. They were all shunned or just pushed aside. I think Astral Chain, obviously, Fire Emblem Three Houses, both of those came out in the same year, and those were just pushed aside for games that were rated way lower but somehow were much better, right? Like Control and also Death Stranding. So when I mean by underrated, I mean that the Nintendo fans aren't really going out there and picking up the game as much as some of the other franchises. People kind of push those games aside when it comes to Game of the Year considerations. Like, that's what I mean by underrated. And these franchises that I listed were all definitely underrated in my opinion, based on various different factors. Now, let's go ahead and go over the results here for you guys, because this was a pretty tight race somewhat between the top three, and there was over 13,000 votes. So thank you so much for participating in the poll. It really does help out with the channel, and of course creates content for us that we can all discuss as a community. So I do appreciate that. So let's go ahead and go from the bottom to the top. So I had other on there, comment below, and some people were putting franchises and stuff, so there you go on that. Then at number 4 was ARMS at only 6% of the vote. So many people don't think that ARMS is the most underrated or your favorite underrated Switch exclusive. Underrated Switch exclusive. Next up at 26% was Fire Emblem Three Houses, so very close there, the third place. In at second place at 28%, so barely beating out Fire Emblem Three Houses, was Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And then coming in at number 1 with a nice jump above any of the other games was Astral Chain. But even between that, I mean, there was really only about a 8% gap between the top 3 games, between Astral Chain, Fire Emblem Three Houses, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which was pretty cool to see. A lot of you guys had a lot of great discussion. I read a lot of the comments, and many of you guys had very good points, but I have to agree here when it comes down to what the community voted. Astral Chain, to me, is one of the most underrated games of all time, and this kind of seems to happen a lot with Platinum Games titles, especially like with the games that come out for like Nintendo platforms. People are just kind of like, yeah, Platinum Games, Nintendo type of game, and they don't give it a chance. They don't try it out. They don't play it, because out of those 3 games, 2 One, because obviously it's not a franchise, right? It's a new IP. So it's not a storied franchise. So people were kind of sleeping on it a little bit more so than anything. But I've been replaying Astral Chain this week on the channel on my live streams. And I even realize more now so than ever. And I played through the special case files and I played through the whole game. I played a bit of PT Ultimate. I was collecting stuff. So I know the game. But now that I actually took the time to replay levels, to go through on PT Ultimate, to really look up and exactly know the different types of combos and learn how to dodge properly and learn how to actually use the mechanics to my advantage and get the best possible scores for each of the different scenarios and making sure that I'm doing everything. Now that I'm actually taking that fine-tooth comb through the game, Astral Chain is not only one of the most underrated or my favorite underrated Nintendo Switch exclusive on there, it's one of the most underrated games, period, like in the history of gaming. I think it's one of the best games ever made, and I'm not trying to cap on this one here. Astral Chain is not only a new IP. People have always been clamoring for Nintendo to make new stuff or for Nintendo to help or to get some help to make new things. Well, here you got it here. But the combo system and what it does, the intricate nature of this game can just be played in so many different ways with all the different legions at the most basic of level, if you want to go with the Unchained mode or the easy casual mode, or all the way up to PT Ultimate, where there's a number of factors that make it a lot harder, where you have to strategically put out your legion, do your attacks, dodge, do dodge offsets, switch up your legions, make sure you use your skills, combo up, air combos, switching up weapons. There are so many different things from the bottom to the top to me that makes Astral Chain the quintessential action game on the Nintendo Switch. And even if you look at it from a presentation standpoint, out of these games here, I think that Astral Chain has the cleanest and best presentation. The UI, the menu, the fonts, the slickness of it, everything is just perfect with Astral Chain. And there really isn't much negative that I have to say about the game outside of the dodging is a little bit dodgy, you know, pardon the pun or anything, but it's a little bit finicky. You have to make sure that you take your hand off of that control stick and you directly input that motion. You can't like press the dodge button and press it right away to get that. If you're going forward, you're going to jump forward and right into an enemy attack. So I wish they would have fine-tuned the dodging a little bit more, but once you get used to it, it's not too bad. And also with the story, obviously people talked about how it's kind of predictable with some of the stuff, but I did enjoy the story and I'm enjoying it, even going through again, playing it on PT Standard and getting S pluses, going through on PT Ultimate, trying to get S pluses, practicing in the training room. I mean, there's just so much to love about this game, and that's why a lot of people were hoping in the comment section, people were saying, man, we really need a sequel for this. But I think that when you have a game like Astral Chain, right, when you have a game that completely kind of came out of nowhere and surprised so many people, heck, it even sold really well for a new IP kind of out of nowhere, 1 million units plus. It's actually doing better than some of the other action games that came out on multiple other platforms this year. So for example, a Scarlet Nexus, it's doing better in terms of rate of sales than that game. So it's cool to see that a game like Astral Chain can still have some fans out there, but I feel that it definitely should have done better. But let's see if there is a sequel. I think that Mr. Tuda said that they originally envisioned a trilogy. They left a lot of stuff up for thinking or pondering. If you've beat the game, you know, what's going on with Max, you know, the dad for the Akira twins, what's going on there, what's happening with the other legions, could there be more out there, what's going on with the astral plane and finishing off that. There's so many different things that they can go and revisit for another game and even a game after that. So I'm excited for the future of Astral Chain. I think it sold well enough to get a sequel. I think that there's enough momentum and hype in terms of people going back and playing it. Heck, I just talked to multiple people today on my stream saying that they're going to go back and purchase Astral Chain, or they're going to go back and play the game. So I think that Nintendo has something here. I think Nintendo and Platinum Games has a solid title, and I think that it definitely deserved to win the poll that we did have here. And I implore all of you guys, this can be a little bit of a pseudo review for the game. I implore all of you guys, if you like action games, I know there's no discount on this one, guys. It's still 60 bucks in most places, or you can get it for like 50 something. You know, it's still expensive in most places if you want to just buy the game brand new, if you want to buy it on the eShop, but you can maybe find it like on the secondhand market for cheaper out there. But I do think that it's going to become a rare cartridge at some point, so you might want to just pick up that physical cartridge, or maybe even two if you can get them, just because down the line it might be worth a bit more. But I just feel that this is the type of game that is worth every bit that you spend on it. I mean, to kind of shill a little bit more for it, because I'm just in love with Astral Chain at this point. I think that everything that you would see sometimes other developers, heck, even Nintendo themselves, kind of put in as DLC or extra stuff, it's all included. Astral Chain reminds me of games from like back in the day when you used to go buy the game, everything was there. There wasn't any constant downloads and patches. There wasn't any, oh, we're gonna do like a free weekend. There wasn't any, oh, well, here's this extra DLC type of thing, or we're live streaming this live streamed event that's going on within game, or some weeks you have this or that. Everything's included. When you beat the game, extra case files, when you want to do achievements, when you want to get extra stuff, it's all there. There's like almost 200 achievements to collect, and they're actually fun to collect those because you get rewards anytime that you do them, not just a little pop-up to say, hey, look at this, Billy, I got this little badge right here next to my name for some arbitrary score that doesn't matter at the end of the day. All of Astral Chain's achievements that you do, they all reward you with something. They reward you with upgrading material, get different types of outfits or colors. So it's something that just kind of keeps you going and going and going, and making you wanting to play the game and understand the game and beat everything about it, man. It's a huge time sink at times if you want to get everything, but if you want to just go through and play the game and have fun, you can do so at any level of gamer, from the beginning all the way up to the hardest core of platinum games type of players. So I definitely think it's worth the money. I feel that people should go out there and pick up the game, and I'm probably going to do another review on Astral Chain as I probably beat it again and do everything on S Plus, or try to get S Pluses on everything, and more like do everything on PT Ultimate and try to get my S Pluses. So I'll probably review the game again with more footage of my own gameplay and me talking about the game, discussing what makes it so good, just because I do really love Astral Chain. I think it's worth every bit of praise that it got, and I feel that more people should definitely check it out because it is awesome. What do you guys think? What is your favorite underrated Nintendo Switch exclusive that I didn't mention from Nintendo, or heck, even from other third parties out there? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, peeps, that wraps it up for this video here. Make sure you hit that like button if you didn't do so already. Make sure you subscribe as well if you're not, and check out the link in the description below to become a channel member and get exclusive perks, rewards, benefits, and so much more. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next video. Peace.